dancers, Jess here. Welcome back to the Whole Dancer YouTube channel, where every week you can find a video on dancer health, wellness, nutrition, all that good stuff that's going to support you in a healthy, happy, long dance journey. So today's topic is on what exactly should a professional dancer be eating in a day? I like questions like these, even though I won't give you a specific answer as far as, like eat this, and this, because that's just not how it works. But I am thrilled to talk about what foods are going to fuel you, what things to consider when you are thinking about what to eat in a day and what's actually required for a full-time professional dancer in a day. And, for those of you who are still aspiring to that, depending on your level of training, this is going to be pretty relevant as well. And it might just be information that you bring on for the future or you keep in mind for the future. Setting yourself up by starting to eat healthfully now is only going to pave the way for a healthy professional dance career. And with all of that, your mindset and your thoughts around food and your body are going to be key to your success in those areas. So, even though I don't usually talk about calories because they are somewhat insignificant these days, the quality of your food and, staying mindful of your hunger and fullness cues is much more essential for an active person than what, counting actual calories or tracking food and things like that. But for the purposes of this video, I did want to talk a little bit about calories just to give you some perspective. Sometimes when I'm talking with dancers who are trying to lose weight or change their body composition, things like that, they're at a very extreme low number of calories in order to try and achieve those goals. So I'm talking like 1,200, 13, 14, even 1,500 calories for someone who's super active is really, really low. And if you're trying to meet goals and meet them sustainably, going that low in calories can have more adverse effects than any kind of positive outcome or results. What's most common when you're under eating calories and you're super active is that you're going to get injured. And, for me, when I was dancing training in high school as a teen, I went way under in calories. This was borderline disordered eating, and I had more stress fractures than anyone you've known and tons of chronic sprains and injuries to my ankles and feet. And, some of it maybe had to do with my own personal technique, but I think a large contributor to all of that was the lack of food and the fact that I wasn't giving my body what it actually needed for the activity level. My bones were not strong. I think I definitely lost some bone density and didn't build it up to where it should have been at that time. And, that's something that obviously could have long-term health impacts for me. And so it is essential that you don't do that to yourself and you don't lead to, those injuries that we're all trying to avoid. So with all of that being said, just out of curiosity, even though I had an idea, I looked online at one of those calorie calculating things to see when I was dancing professionally based on what my weight was then and my height and my activity level, how many calories I should have been consuming to maintain my weight, so to just stay where I was. And they suggested 2,400 in a day. And I can guarantee you I was eating a lot less than that most days. But it's kind of an eye-opener. I think that dancers want to stay in a lower range because we think that, that's where we have to be. But to support your body and the level of activity and to support healthy bones and muscles, you really do need to be up there. They say that the average woman needs 2,000 calories a day, and that's not even a super active person. If you look at a very active woman, it's closer to 2,500 in a day. So I'm bringing calories into this conversation just to give you some perspective. When you look at 2,500 calories of food, that is quite a bit of food. It's like, eating a full breakfast, lunch, and dinner and some snacks for most people. So it's not at all being minimal with your food, and it's not at all about being restrictive or under eating or portions that are super small. I think that, as I've said, the key to reaching your healthiest weight, your ideal weight as a dancer, which again is going to be different for everyone, it really is about finding the healthiest foods that you can eat, that you enjoy, and creating a meal plan around those foods. When we avoid processed foods, when we don't focus on, the less nutrient dense foods, or when we don't have sugary treats 5 times a day, it's a lot easier to stay at the healthy weight and maintain it than if you are caught up in sugar addiction and all kinds of unhealthy food habits. If you are stuck eating less healthy options at the majority of your meals, that's going to make the whole thing a lot harder to achieve. Another thing I wanted to bring into this discussion was the idea of those what I eat in a day videos or what I eat in a day blog posts. And just to say that, while we can look at those things as inspiration, I did actually recently write a blog post on why it doesn't really matter what anyone else eats in a day, because we can use those people's daily consumption as some sort of inspiration, but we're not living their lives. And we also don't know if they're being 100% truthful. Like, there might have been some secret snacks in there that they just didn't share with us. But also, your body is so unique and your body's needs are going to be so different from anyone else's that it's really important that you stick to what works for you and figure out what works for you. If you use someone's what I eat in a day video as like a jumping off point, you say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to eat something similar for breakfast, lunch, and dinner as what she ate. And you find that it works well for you. That might be a starting off point for moving forward. But you're not going to eat the exact same thing every day. So it's important that you continue to do that experimentation for yourself so that you can reach your goals and make your own progress with body. A professional dancer, like I said, from a caloric perspective, it's quite a bit of food. You should be having full meals, and if lunch is not an option, because sometimes it's not, depending on rehearsals and things like that, or if you're still training and say you train at night and so like a full dinner is not as much of an option, you've got to come up with the healthy snacks that are going to fit into the place of that meal, and then maybe have a smaller version of that meal later on. So say you're dancing during the day, you're rehearsing, and you have 3 or 4 small snacks, a serving of almonds, some vegetables with hummus, maybe an RX bar or a Lara bar, and maybe then a piece of fruit and some nuts, or just a piece of fruit on its own. If you have those 4 snacks, you then might also have a small meal once you get home and you actually have the time to put together something a little more nutrient dense, some dark leafy greens, some additional protein, some additional healthy fats. Breakfast is a great opportunity for dancers to sort of amp up the meal and eat a little bit more in preparation for the first half of the day, especially if that's when you've got the bulk of your dancing. And so a large serving of oatmeal, making sure that you're including nuts or nut butters for healthy fat, and then you're also including some vegetables as a side, or some fruit as just some additional antioxidants and energy boosters into that meal. You want to make it hearty, and don't necessarily measure your food and follow an exact serving size, because it's very possible that you might need more than that because of your activity level. Serving sizes are generally based off of, people who are not as active, because that's most people. So when you're super active, you should consider that maybe you need a little bit more than what they call a serving size. Or just know that it's okay if you sometimes eat more than what they call a serving size, especially when it's a healthy food like oatmeal or almonds or something like that. And then for dinner, I think that it's, again, an opportunity to sort of replenish some of what you've lost. You can eat carbohydrates at dinner, absolutely. You want to have balanced meals. And then you'll have a large portion of vegetables, taking up half your plate or a bit more. And you can have some healthy fat and protein to go with it as well. You want to replenish what your body has lost, as I said. And remember that then overnight, you don't want to get to a place where you eat a huge dinner and then overnight your body is working through that. And when you wake up in the morning, you're not hungry, and then you don't eat breakfast, and it gets into this weird cycle of, heavy nighttime eating and very light eating in the daytime. But you want to think about the timing of your meals and how they're actually working for you and how they're supporting you. This can be challenging to work through on your own. I'm going to say that for sure. Determining what you need as a pro, or even what you need as a high-level aspiring professional dancer, is not necessarily super simple. And if you're looking for support, definitely feel free to reach out to me. Consider the Dancer's Best Body program. That's a program created specifically to help you figure out what's going to work best for your personal needs and, seek out what you need to get there in a healthful way. The very worst thing we can do, which is not uncommon, and it's easy to fall into this trap, is to just research online and take snippets of information from here, there, and everywhere, where it's all conflicting and confusing and, makes you question pretty much every food activity that you have and every food choice that you make. So instead of doing that, it's very valuable to focus in on getting the help that you need for your specific needs, thinking about how your body reacts to certain foods, and making sure that you're eating enough. Thanks again so much for tuning in. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like some more information on making your body goals a reality and reaching those goals, be sure to head over to thewholedancer.com/tips, where you can sign up for the Whole Dancer email. And when you sign up, you'll be sent my 50 tips to get into the best dancing shape of your life cheat sheet. And that can sort of help you to get started. It talks about a number of different areas that are important to focus on in order to make body goals a reality. And just know that figuring out what's going to work for your body is a process, and you don't have to know all the answers tomorrow, but making tweaks and continuing to make healthy choices and finding the ways to make all of those healthy foods taste really delicious to you is the key element. Those are some key pieces. Thanks again so much for tuning in, and I will catch you next time.